Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mi Casa es su casa. This is your space, this is your home, this is your family. We are in a new year, and you guys had some questions for us. So, in today's episode, we are going to answer them. Let's get into it.
Hello, hello. Welcome back to our channel, Mi Casa Su Casa. In case you don't remember what Mi Casa Su Casa means, it means our home is your home. You guys are very welcome here. My name is Angelica,
And my name is Jose.
and today we're very excited to share some answers to random questions that we've been asked for the past little while. So, kick us off with the first question, Amor.
So, the first question that we were asked was, what was your first impression of each other and how has it changed over time?
That's a really good question.
Let's allow the ladies to begin.
Okay, so you know this. So my first impression of you, I remember the one of the first times I really stopped to observe you was in university. We went to university at Berman
We want
University
more details.
in Alberta, and and long story short, when I saw you, I remember seeing that you were very confident, very charismatic. You were very just social, and you almost seemed like just naturally a leader. So I remember at the time I was not intimidated, but very just kind of in awe of how much confidence radiated out of you because I was so introverted at the time. And not that that perspective has changed, but I guess now knowing you more, I recognize that you're not actually always like that, and you do need some time to step away. And I've been able to learn that side of you as well, where you do enjoy kind of activities that help you recharge alone.
I feel like as I have aged, I am 30 years old now. I've reached the third floor officially. I, yes, I have become more introverted in a way, or I have tapped more into my introverted side.
Yeah.
Before, I could be around people all day long and be high energy, but now I definitely have to step back and recharge on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I can see that. Did you think that I was overconfident or maybe a little cocky? Is that a way that I
Mm,
came across?
not really.
I have some friends that told me that their first impression of me was very similar to yours,
Mm,
and that they, for some reason, thought that I was
like too proud or
maybe proud.
mm,
Yes. Did you get that impression as well?
no, not
No?
really.
Okay, that's a good thing. I'm glad. I'm glad. When it comes to my first impression of you, I I remember when I first saw you, it was by accident. I used to sing in a singing group called
Mhm.
Proclaim. I think I mentioned that before. And I remember that one day we were about to go on stage, and
Okay,
I
you have to
was
give some context. Like,
so there was
you guys weren't doing like world tours or
no, we
anything.
weren't doing world tours. It was a really nice singing group. We were invited to different
Event, like
events and programs
church
planned by the
events.
church. So this was a pretty big event.
Yeah,
There
it
were a
was
couple of
a
thousand people
it
in
was like
that
a
room.
citywide evangelistic series.
Right.
Mm,
Yeah. Back to the point. We were about to go to the front, and I was leaning on
door.
this door
Yeah.
that led to the hallway,
Yeah.
and then
Like it exited
the building where
no,
the meetings were taking place.
the conference room, like the space. Yeah.
Yes. So I remember somebody came and opened the door
Hmm.
in which I was leaning, and it was Angelica. I didn't know her at the time. If I am correctly, you knew of me at the moment, at the time.
I had seen you in pictures, like there were
Yeah, she was already stalking me. That's why.
absolutely not. Okay. My cousin knew you, and I had heard about you being like this young pastor or guy who was
So you knew
studying to
me,
be a pastor. So I
of
didn't
me,
know you. I knew of you.
of
Yeah.
me. Okay, because she has been stalking me. So she opened the door, and I sort of tripped on her. She held me back, and then
Yeah, with these beast biceps.
that's right. That's right. And I remember that I saw you and I said, "Oh, I'm sorry." I don't know why I said I'm sorry, but then you were like, "Oh, I'm sorry as well." And we smiled at each other, and you went your way.
Yeah.
And I remember that that was our first interaction.
Mm,
To me, you were cute and timid, I would say.
yeah. Based on that interaction.
So
Yeah.
based on that
Hmm.
interaction, which wasn't too long, and it was sort of, I
It's
guess, a
like
little awkward or
random.
uncomfortable
Uh-huh.
because
Hmm.
of the situation. But that was my first impression of you, cute and timid. Then when you came to the university and we got to know each other, I guess I noticed that yes, you continue to be cute. You still are today. uh, your timidity definitely has ceased. You have come out of your shell a little bit more,
Yeah.
and you are more confident in who you are.
Hmm.
And that's something that I respect and value of the type of person that you have become.
No.
Yeah, cute. Okay, let's get to the second question. This one says the following: what's a quirky or weird tradition that you guys have as a couple? Go ahead.
Mm. I don't think this one's, yeah, it's not really weird or quirky, but it definitely is a tradition. So, since I was very young, maybe about 8 years old, I started watching Survivor with
Mm.
my mom. So, if you don't know about Survivor, Survivor is this reality TV show where contestants basically survive on an island for 21 days or something like that for a chance to win
I was
$1 million.
just gonna say, Jeff, give me a chance. I'm ready.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So no, I definitely okay. I side note, if you do watch Survivor, I swear Jose would do so good in Survivor. Like
I'll get
if you
voted out
agree,
for sure. I'll get voted out.
maybe, but I feel like you would do so well. You're athletic, you're strategic, you're good social
I
skills.
would love to
Like
play the game for sure.
I think you'd be great. Anyways, so my mom and I, we used to spend every Wednesday evening watching Survivor together. And I just grew up doing that. And I've watched every season since I was about 8 years old. So 2000, I don't know, whatever, 2000 something when I was 8 years old. So now, when I got married with Jose, that's the first tradition I brought to the home. I said,
Hmm.
we're watching Survivor. And I introduced him to Survivor. And I think like 7 years into our marriage, we're still watching
Yeah, we're
Survivor.
still watching. I remember that when you were pregnant, we would even watch it with Camila when she
Yeah.
was in the womb.
Yeah.
And for some weird reason, but it was kind of cute. Every time we would start watching Survivor, she would start to move a lot.
Yeah.
She would get very excited inside the womb and she would kick and move around
Yeah.
as if she was
As if
celebrated
she
that it was time
knew.
for Survivor.
Yeah. And then also, we love watching Survivor while drinking smoothies. So, Jose is a really good smoothie maker.
Yes.
So, he'll make us each smoothies and then we enjoy them as we watch.
Yes. Shout out to Nature's Touch. That's the brand of the
The
that's the brand of
frozen
the
fruit.
frozen fruits that we get. Great fruits, by the way.
Yeah.
What fruits do they have?
It has like passion fruit, I
Hmm.
think, pineapple, mango. It's a very
Yes.
tropical mix that
And
we.
dragon
Oh, and
fruits.
dragon
Yeah,
fruit.
it's a
Yes, the
great
same.
mix from
Really like.
Costco. Shout out to Costco.
Yeah.
Yes, that's one of our traditions. Survivor and smoothies.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the third one. You want to read the third one?
Yeah, sure. It's what's one thing you've learned from each other that has changed your perspective on life?
One thing you've learned from each other that has changed your perspective on life.
Hmm.
I would say for me, something that I have learned about you, which is something I didn't really have when I was younger, was
Hmm.
to be more open about my feelings and be vulnerable about the things that I'm going through.
Hmm.
I feel like when we started dating, this is something that you presented from the very beginning. I noticed that you were very open and honest about you and your story and the things that you're going through. And you just like to talk a lot about the different things that are going on, even if they quote unquote may not seem as relevant or important. You just like to share everything about your life, even if it's even a little silly sometimes. Like literally, sometimes I am sitting down just listening to Angelica talk about things that she has gone through.
Or
that
that I'm like thinking about.
or that
Yeah.
she's thinking about, and sometimes they make no sense at all, but she's just speaking about the things that she's thinking.
And I actually say, like, I know none of this makes sense, but I
Yeah.
need you to
As
just
she as
listen
she's
to me.
explaining everything, she's like, I know this is not making sense, but just listen to what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
I have learned to embrace the stories even when they make no sense. And
And
to
the
be honest and
vulnerability and the,
vulnerable.
yeah.
Yeah. So the valuable thing, yes, be vulnerable and being open,
Yeah.
and everything else, not be so serious, I would say.
Yeah, maybe. But actually, okay, so I don't know if I heard this in a podcast or something, but maybe it was like a therapy counseling show or something. I don't know. But long story short, when in relationships or just in friendships, when people will just share nonsense things like that, what you were just saying, or someone might be like, "Oh, look at the bird," or did you hear the way the dog barked or whatever? It may be just a random thing, but those are actually called, I think it's like cues for connection, bids for connection or something like that. And
Bits
so
for connection.
where you're basically looking for an opportunity to reconnect emotionally
Hmm.
with the person that you're engaging with. And oftentimes, the way that the other person responds can either kill the connection or reinforce it. And I noticed that.
I'm sorry for the many times I've killed the connection.
But no, what I was going to say was that often you actually don't. And I actually really appreciate the fact that since we've started our relationship, and it goes reciprocal both ways. Like we'll both share random thoughts, and I think we do a pretty decent job at recognizing the bid for connection and
Embracing it
entertaining
and
it.
like
And
entertaining it. There
yeah,
you go. That's a
and
good.
and saying, "Oh, yeah, look at the bird." Like it is interesting. We both stop
Yeah.
or we both engage in whatever observation or comment or
Yeah.
whatever that was
Yeah.
shared.
I feel like in connection with this thought, I have also learned from Angelica to not take life so seriously. I tend to be, I'm a joker, but I also tend to be very serious at times. And Angelica has taught me to not be so
Just
serious,
chill,
and
bro.
just relax and enjoy even the silly things about
Mm.
life. So, what you were saying before, it is true. I have made it a goal for myself
Mm.
that when you gave it a name, you said bits for connection,
Mm.
to embrace that and just continue expanding on it to continue the connection.
Yeah,
Right. So,
yeah.
yeah, cool thing.
Aw, sweet. For me, one thing that I've learned about you that has changed my perspective is the value of consistency.
Hmm.
I think I've always struggled with consistency because I've been used to getting like the immediate gratification of results or whatever. And so when things require just a little bit more perseverance, a little bit more consistency, it was always hard to implement that discipline. But I've never met someone so disciplined and so committed and so persistent at reaching goals and achieving goals like you, that to me it's really been inspiring. And I think along with consistency is also recognizing the value of time, in the sense that there's nothing wrong with taking time to play my Switch, which I love doing on my spare time. There's nothing wrong with watching a series or doing things that I enjoy, but recognizing that time is fleeting and every second that we live will never come back.
Right.
And so, doing what we can to maximize our time and take advantage of our time is something that you've really taught me, especially because you are definitely a morning person.
I am.
And for me, that's goals, especially now with Camila. Like, my goal is to be a morning person so I can, do life before she wakes up and not get up right when she wakes up and be like, oh my gosh, I'm starting my day.
Yeah.
So those are the two things that you've really inspired me to, and that have changed my perspective, is the value and the benefits of consistency, and also the importance of time.
For sure. This is something that I didn't know that you were planning on doing, but right now is January 6th, and Angelica has been waking up at 6 in the morning. She never shared with me that this was one of her goals for 2025, But
Yeah.
you've been doing it. Is this part of what you're planning on doing for the rest of your year?
I mean, it is, but yeah, it's one of those quarterly habits that we talked
Oh,
about.
okay,
So
okay.
if you want to watch that video, practical steps to making 2025 the best year yet. Yeah, that's one of my habits.
Awesome. I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep her accountable and encouraged to be
Thank,
consistent
thank
because it's a
you.
great habit to have. Good for
Thanks.
you.
Thanks.
Let's get into the fourth question that you guys asked us. What is one thing you hope we will achieve as a couple in the next 5 years? I'll ask you and then I'll answer it.
Mm. One of the things that I hope we will achieve in the next 5 years is to be able to reach our goals when it comes to traveling.
Hmm.
So, from the moment that we got married, we said that we always wanted to travel at least to one different place
Yes.
every year. And
One
now,
international trip a
one
year.
international trip. Yeah. And so I think we've done a lot of Mexico, a lot of like Central America, that I think now we're kind of ready to step out of our comfort zone a little. At least I am. And I do want to go to maybe a different continent.
That would be nice.
So my hope is that in the next 5 years, we'll be able to explore other places. And now with Camila, which would be very cool. And also, I think, eye opening for us and even for her to realize the world is much bigger than our little home in
Than the
Paris.
American continent.
Yeah.
Yes. For me, interesting because I mentioned that one as well. I want to continue traveling, but now not only with three of us, but with four.
Okay, relax. I literally had a
by
baby just
that,
like 12 months ago. Chill.
by that I mean having another baby in the next 5 years. I
No,
am,
okay, okay. Okay.
I am praying and crossing my fingers that the next baby can be a boy. I would love to have a boy. If it's not a boy, it's completely okay. We're gonna love the baby girl as well. But if it's a baby boy, I've already given him a name. I am trying to
Absolutely not.
convince Angelica that
Absolutely
she
not.
will embrace the
Oh
name.
my
The name is
gosh.
Apollos.
Okay, no.
Please give me some comments
No.
here
You
in
can
the comment section if you
we
like the
can do a
name.
poll if you like the name or you hate the name.
What is it?
People will answer if they like it or
Did you
not.
say a poll?
A poll. No.
Apollos. Can you imagine?
No,
Apollos
no,
Sanchez. I
no.
love the name so
Absolutely not.
much.
The thing I will always say, and I stand behind this, is that Apollos to me sounds one like a spaceship or like, NASA related stuff. So people will either bully our baby for that, or second, the name sounds like a horse's name, like a Disney horse's name or something.
To me, it sounds like the name of a gentleman who is confident and honors woman.
I think,
Apollo Sanchez.
yeah, no,
A
not with that
gentleman.
name. I'm sorry.
I would love to have Apollos in the next 5 years. That's part of my goal with
With that
my
name,
wife.
babes, I'm sorry. Uterus is closed.
Besides that, I also wrote down a few more things here. I want to take this podcast to the next level,
Mm,
whatever that next level means.
yeah.
Maybe the quality of the setting.
Mm,
Maybe just continue moving forward with our
yeah.
content. I want to take this to the next level.
Mm,
Another dream that I was thinking about is to potentially have a weekend in which we go to a place and then it's sort of like a convention of Mi Casa Su Casa so that we can get to know some
whoa,
of
that'd be
our
cool.
community members
Mm-hmm.
here in YouTube and also Spotify
Mm-hmm.
and even in Instagram and the rest of social media and just to be able to connect not only through video and camera, but also in person. I
Yeah,
think
that'd
that
be
would be
cool.
pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay, and we've reached the final question for today's episode. The question says, what is something that you are really proud of the other for? I'll
Okay.
give you the honors.
Okay. So, one moment this past year where I was extremely proud of you. Actually, there's two, but one was the day that you were ordained as
Yeah.
a pastor. Can you share basically what ordination is and why it matters?
So In pastoral ministry, you begin after you graduate from university, you sort of begin like a quote unquote intern, and you are being mentored and helped in order to grow and be able to prepare yourself to be a lead pastor one day. So,
Mm.
as part of the process, there comes a point when the organization that in my case I work for and also the church sort of sees you and they say, you know, he's been faithful to his role.
Mm.
He has been committed to the cause and to the mission of the church.
Mm.
And we value his work and we want to commend him for being true to his call.
Yeah.
And they also analyze the way that you have been ministering up to that point, and they pretty much make a confirmation, a public confirmation and proclamation in front of everybody that this is a person that they root for and value,
Yeah. And that they stand behind, I
and that
would
they
say.
stand behind.
Like they
Correct.
endorse.
Sure, sure. That's a good
Mm-hmm.
word to describe it as well. So that's part of what ordination is being committed to a special call. In this case, is pastoral ministry. It's not you're no
Yeah.
longer an intern, but you are
Yeah.
now an ordained pastor.
Right. And I think along with that is that the conference is kind of placing on you this special blessing of recognition that, God is blessing your ministry and we support you
Yeah.
and your leaders are behind you.
Yeah, we're endorsing you. We're here for you. We
Yeah.
support your ministry.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I remember I was so proud of you in that moment because only only I have seen behind closed doors the work that it takes to be a pastor and to do what you do. And I want to say this because pastors could, spend the entire week just preparing for a sermon that they preach on the weekend, and then their church members don't really know much about them. And many pastors can get away with doing the bare minimum due to lack of accountability or whatever it might be. But as your wife, I've seen that the commitment with which you are faithful to this call of pastoral ministry doesn't really come from like this idea that, oh, administration is watching you, or oh, it's like required of me or whatever. I think it really comes down to just this passion for God, for his word, a love for the gospel, and a love for young people. And I think that deep down, you really just want to see every single young person that you come into contact with to learn for themselves the beauty that is found when they learn who Jesus is and what he has for them. So when I remember them acknowledging you and recognizing you in that moment, in that ordination ceremony, I had like flashbacks of kind of all the things that you've done and all the initiatives and all the events and all the praying and all the counseling session. Like literally I was thinking about all of that during the event, and I just said, wow, like it's very meaningful to see that this was something that you were being recognized for. And also it just felt like a very humbling and almost sacred experience, I would say, to be given the honor to be recognized by the church and by God in that way.
Yeah, that was a very special moment for sure.
Yeah.
And I gotta say this in front of all of you. My ministry has not been a result of my work, but the work of God working in me and through me. But somebody that has always been there throughout my ministry has been you. So, Angelica, I love the fact that you were standing beside me when the ordination ceremony took place because I couldn't do what I do without Angelica. Her support is her support is invaluable, and I'm so happy that I'm able to be a part of this work with you.
Mm. Aww. Okay, wait. Second thing, because I said I had two moments I was proud of you.
Yeah,
Do you want to hear the second one?
sure.
Oh, okay. Well, sure. Okay. The second occasion where I was very proud of you was just seeing the transition of you being just husband to now being dad. I think it's been a journey to get here. And we're at a point now where Jose is like doing all the things and everything runs so smoothly. And mom could step away and things are still running smoothly. And I'm just like, my man graduated. He is a king. So good on you, king.
It's taking a lot of time, a lot of patience,
Yes.
but it
yes.
is possible.
We have a friend. He would say, my son. That's
And for me, something that I value about you is the whole process of you getting pregnant and going through the whole process. I know that it was challenging. It affected you in many areas, mentally, emotionally, physically as well. So experiencing pregnancy and seeing you stay positive and be resilient in spite of all the different changes that were coming upon you is something that I admire, especially the resiliency. I know that it wasn't easy, even though knowing that you're going to have a baby is something that fills your heart with a lot of joy and excitement for what the future will bring. It wasn't an easy experience, but in spite of the challenges and the hard days when you would wake up and you will be having backaches and sometimes you you would run to the bathroom because you had to vomit and you would smell something and then you would get a headache. I know it wasn't easy because I was there with you for the entire period of you being pregnant for those 9 months. But in spite of everything, you always kept a smile on your face and you kept a positive attitude and knowing that at the end it would all be worth it. So I am very privileged to know that I am married to somebody who is strong, resilient, and positive, optimistic person. You crying?
cute. No, not crying. He's just a piece of dust. All right, friends. Well, that's it. That's our episode for today. If there are any questions that you would love to have us answer, feel free to drop them in the comments below. You can also reach out to us on Instagram at Mi Casa Su Casa. And we just want to remind you that if you like any of the episodes that you've seen so far, or have any other comments or suggestions of videos you want to see in the future, don't hesitate to reach out. Go ahead and subscribe, like our videos. Your support means everything to us, and we love and appreciate you guys so much. And until next time, we'll see you.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.